Okay, so this is the second part of Module 1. We're actually going to go through and do um, the step-by-step assignment that's in Chapter 1. And what this is going to be is we're going to create a flyer for apparently this surf company. It's going to look like this. Let me turn this off. It's going to look like this when it's done. It's just a flyer. It's got a picture of a surfer, and apparently it's like we're offering surf lessons or something like that. So this is what we're going to try to create, and I'll guide you through the main parts of this thing. What I've done, if you copied again, if you copied that file that I asked you all to copy from the drive out in class, if you copied that, you have something similar to this. This is, and all this is the text that's in this flyer. So you see surfs up, and then all of this stuff, all of these. This is just the text for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to manipulate this document to where it looks like this. Now, this is not necessarily how you would do it if you're creating this document, because more likely you would be doing this on the fly. You wouldn't be, typing it all and then going back and then editing it. But you might. I mean, there's nothing that says that you can't do it this way. I've already got the typing done, so that we don't have to waste time with typing. So first thing that we're going to do is, and I always suggest this, is like just make sure that this show hide is on. This little button here, and the only thing that does is turns on the non-printing characters that I told you about in the last video. So the first thing it wants us to do is type surfs up, and then we're going to give it this this kind of a background. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to center. Again, let me bring this over. I'll pop this in and out a lot just so we can kind of see what this is going to look like. This surfs up here is centered. It's also a different font. It's also all caps, but we'll get there in a second. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to insert. I've got my insertion point just somewhere in this first paragraph that says surfs up. I don't have to select it. I just got to have my insertion point in there. And then to center it, I just go up here into my paragraph group, and there's this little button here. And if I just let my mouse hover over it, it tells you what that button does. And it says center. So if I click that, that will center that text. So it's center. It's got the same amount of space on the left and the right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the font of it. So we got to do a few things with it, because we've got to change it to like a Rockwell bold or something like that, and it's going to be really big. So I've got to change, since I'm going to change everything in it, I'm going to select it all. And this is a character format, so I want to change it all. So I'm going to select it. So now the entire paragraph is selected. And I'm going to go over here, and here's my fonts. And I can just scroll down through these things until I find what I'm looking for. And I think it's called Rockwell Extra Bold. So that's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to change it to Rockwell Extra Bold. Now, the cool thing about these fonts is like I can like let my mouse hover, and you'll see that this paragraph that I've got selected will change as I let my mouse hover over these different fonts. So you can kind of let your mouse fly until you find one that you really like. But this one, they want us to choose this, Rockwell Extra Bold. So we'll click on that. Now that's selected. And it also wants us to make it the font really big, 72 points. So again, same thing. I can let my mouse fly over this, and the selected font is going to change as I just let it float over these numbers. So it wants it to be 72. And now we need to make it all caps. Now I could retype this thing, but why would we do that? There's this little button right here that just talks about change case. And if I click the down arrow, I get options on what I want to do with it. And I want to change it to all uppercase. So now we've got this as being all uppercase. Okay, again, looking at what we want this to look like, you'll see that the actual letters look like they're hollowed out on a colored background. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply a text effect to this. So again, I've got this selected, and the colors are not going to be right when we first start off, but they'll change in a bit. So I'm going to go up here, and there's a button that says text effect, and the one that it wants me to choose is this one here. So I'm going to choose this one, and you see that it kind of hollows out those letters and gives it a background. And let me turn these show hide off so you can kind of see what it's going to look like. So again, this is like I said, even the words are a little bit off. I mean, the colors are a little bit off, but that'll change in a bit. So we're going to get that done. So hang with me. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to give it this border or this background behind it, and this is shading a paragraph. So again, I'm going to go into here. I got my insertion point popped into here, and it wants us to choose a specific color. Now again, I know looks like it's supposed to be blue when we're done, but it's going to give you some instructions later on about how to change that. So I'm going to click on this down arrow here, and it wants us to choose orange accent to darker 25%. So if I just put my mouse over one of these things, you see this is orange accent to lighter 40%. Let's go down one. There it is. Orange accent to darker 25%. So this is the one that it wants me to choose. So I'm going to click on that, and now you kind of see that it's starting to look a little bit like it, except the color's wrong. This is like a blue and then a light blue. I'm sorry, a white and then a light blue and then on a dark blue. And here we got a orange, a lighter orange, and a darker or a white on a with a lighter orange and then a darker orange. So it's kind of starting to look the way it's supposed to, but we're not quite there yet. Okay, so next we're going to take this last line and we're going to end up having to center it too. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. I got my insertion point just stuck in the middle of this last paragraph, and I'm just going to hit the center button, and that's going to center that for me. Then notice this word here, instruction. It's misspelled, and that's for a reason. This little red squiggly line just lets you know that this word is not in Microsoft's dictionary. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's misspelled. It probably does, but it may not necessarily mean that. I mean, if it's an obscure word or someone's last name, it may be spelled correctly. It's just not in Microsoft's dictionary. So just be careful about these things. But this one is spelled wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this word that I know is misspelled. I'm just going to right click on it. Whoops. And then you see that I get the list of things that I can do, and it tells me it should be probably instruction. So we'll click on that, and that will change it for me. Now I need to select all of this text here, and I'm going to change the size of that font to 24. Now this is a good time for me. Now I can change this. I can select this in a few different ways. I can click and drag across it all one way or the other. Or I can go out here into the margin with my arrow and click and drag straight down so that it's all selected. However I want to do it, as long as I get it selected, it works. So I'm going to change this to 24, which is the way that's supposed to look. You'll see I still have an empty space right here. If I turn on this show hide again, you'll see that there's still an empty line. I'm going to use that in a minute. Okay, so moving on. Looking at our finished product, you'll see that we've got expert. See how expert is blue, and it's also italicized. Down here, the this last line is also the same colored blue, which is also the same color that we picked for this for our when we were doing our font. So what we're going to do is we're going to it's going to be orange, but it's going to change, I promise. So just don't be surprised that this is going to look weird. So what I need to do is I need to select the word expert, and I'm also going to, while I'm doing this, I'm going to bold award winning. So I'm just going to double click the word expert, and then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click on italics. So that'll make it italics, and then I need to change just this word. So it's a font color. So while I got it selected, I'm going to choose that same orange that we chose earlier. So again, if I put my mouse over it, orange accent to darker 25%. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here with this whole line of text. I'm just going to select it. It also needs to be changed to a 28-point font. And then I also need to change it to that same color. Now notice, I didn't have to go through this thing and select it. After I selected that color the first time for a font color, it put that orange bar underneath it, so it remembers what I chose last, and so it's going to do it. So all I'll have to do is click on it. Now I want to take award winning, and I'm going to click and drag my way through that, and I'm going to make that bold. So we're starting to get somewhere. Also, um, we're going to take these 3 lines here, private, photo, and reef shoes. I'm going to take these and I need to turn those into bullets. Now normally, if you're doing a bullet, what you would do is you would just let me just open up a new page, new document and show you. So let me just show you this. This is just a brand new thing. So to do a bullet, normally you wouldn't type and then convert it to a bullet. Normally you would just do the bullets as you're typing them. So if I wanted to do this, a bullet is like a toggle. So when you turn it on, you're going to be doing bullets until you turn it off. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to turn my bullets on. So here they are. And there's a little down arrow so I can select what kind of bullets I want. I'm just going to choose this dot. And now bullets are turned on. And you can see this because this is highlighted. So that lets you know that bullets are turned on. And then whatever I type, every time when I hit enter, it's going to go down and it's going to create a brand new bullet. Now if I get on an empty bullet and I hit tab, it's going to take that bullet in, and now I'm going to be typing at that level. And every time I hit enter, it's going to be at that level. If I wanted to go back out to this level of a bullet, I would go up here and hit the decrease indent button, and that would take me back. And now I'm back at that level. If I wanted to get out altogether, I can just turn bullets off, and now I'm out of bullets. Okay, so going back to, let me minimize this. Going back to this, I just got these selected, and I'm just going to go up here and turn the bullets on. And just like that, my bullets are done. Okay, so one other thing is this 555 surf, the phone number. Again, see this is underlined. I should have done this a minute ago. But I'm just going to go through and I'm going to select that phone number, and then I'm going to hit the underline button, and that will turn that back to the way that it should be. Okay, so I've been telling you all along that this orange color is going to change. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the theme color for this thing. So watch what happens. I'm going to go up here to my ribbons, and I'm going to click on design. And then from design, I have this button over here called colors. And let me zoom out so you can see a little bit more of what's going to happen when it happens. So then you kind of see all of the text. And so I'm going to go up here and click on this color, and it gives me this drop down. So these are like colors that kind of go together. So it wants me to choose the theme of blue. And so when I do that, now all of a sudden this is starting to change anything that was orange to this other shade of blue. So I just changed theme colors. And one thing that you can tell how things have changed, if you remember, when I click this down arrow here, see how my colors have changed to something else? It's no longer, these colors aren't the same as they were before. Now they're because before it was a little bit orangier, now it's bluer. So this is the way theme colors get changed. So sometimes when you're doing one of these assignments in the book, it'll tell you to like look for a particular color and you may not see it. Probably is because you haven't chosen the correct theme. It probably told you to change the theme somewhere along earlier, the color theme, and you may not have. Okay, getting closer to the end. So now what we're going to do is we're going to insert the picture. Now the thing about a picture is, and I'm going to show you this completely wrong, you've got to pay attention to where your insertion point is when you're inserting a picture. Because like right now my insertion point is right in the middle of the word learn. So if I went and tried to insert a picture, and I'm just going to go select it from, let's see, my desktop, and then these are the files again that you should have downloaded from the class file. This is, let's see, there's the surf picture that I want. So what it's going to try to do is it's going to insert that picture wherever my insertion point was. So here's LEA. Then that's where my insertion point was. There's the picture, and then RN. So it's going to remember wherever your insertion point is where that picture is going to go. So you've got to pay really close attention to where your insertion point is. So I'm going to put it on this blank line. So again, you can see I got this blank line because I got these show hides turned on. So that just lets me know there's a blank line right there. So I'm going to insert it there. So again, there it is. And again, like I said, these files are in this picture is in those files that you should have downloaded. If you don't have those downloaded, if you go to the Blackboard page, there's a link on the left hand side that says textbook files, textbook data files. That's where you'll find them. So I'm going to click on this picture and then insert, and it pops it in there for me. And then I can do, with this picture, I can do anything that I would before. I mean, it's like I can pretend that it's text. It probably is not going to get centered much, but these sizing handles will change the size of the picture. So like, now let's see, so now it's kind of, whoops, left align, right align, centered. So you can use the sizing handles to change the size of it. You can use the ones in the middle to make it tall and skinny, or you can use the ones at the top and the bottom, make it short and fat. These on the corner will increase or decrease the size proportionally. So we'll get this thing back to the way it was before. Alright, so now when I have this picture selected, you'll see I've got a brand new ribbon up here called Picture Tools. This only happens when I have a picture selected. So if I go in here, I can choose the way I want this picture to look. So again, looking at this picture, it's got kind of, and look at this, you'll see that this picture it's an oval shape. It's got this beveled edge around it, and then it's also got this kind of a green glow to it. So here's how we do that. So I've got the picture selected. I'm going to go into Picture Styles, and it wants me to choose this one. Soft Edge Oval. So I click on that, and that changes the style of that picture to this soft edge oval. Now I want to get that glow, I go into Picture Effects and then Glow, and it chose this one, this Glow 5 point, and that's going to give it this glow. I'm pretty sure that was the glow that it wanted me to choose. Let me make sure of that, because sometimes I get that confused. Yeah, it looks like it's it. Okay, so now we've got this glow. Now to get that bevel, see this bevel edge on it? That's in the same place. So I'm going to go into here, I'm going to go to Picture Effects, and then there's a bevel. And I'm just going to choose this bevel right here. And so now it has that beveled edge. So now this thing is really starting to come together. It's really starting to look. I know this is, one of them's a little bit more magnified than the other. Let me knock this down to 100% and it'll look pretty much the exact same size. So now they look pretty much the same. Oops, maybe one more click. There we go. Alright, so now we've got this thing looking almost exactly like it. The only thing we have left to do is this border. Okay, so let's put the border around this thing. So this is all we got to do now is we're going to go into the Design tab again. So here's Design, and then over towards the right hand side, you'll see there's a button that says Page Borders. So I'm going to click on that. That's going to open up this menu. I select, and you see this is like dot dot dash dot dot dash. So this is the one that I'm looking for. Let's see, I think it's this one right here, dot dot dash dot dot dash. So it's going to look like this one. So I'm going to click on that. So now that that's selected, and then I'm going to choose the color. It looks like the color is supposed to be like this kind of a green like that. Yeah, looks like this color right here. So I'm going to click on that, and then it wants it to be, Limax says click 4.5 point for the, so the point size of these dots are supposed to be like 4.5 points. So click on that, and then click OK, and it puts the border around it for me. My picture's too big, because see how that scrolled down on the second side? Apparently I was supposed to reduce the size, because I thought that picture looked a little big. So let me scrunch this down a little bit so that we get everything all on one page. There we go. Yeah, now it looks better. So, and there's our flyer, just like that. all on one page. So that's chapter 1. Y'all have a good day, and you should see me back in class.